Hello and welcome to the Dash Force News Free Amigos podcast. This is episode 25. Dashforcenews.com, the number one source for Dash News. And today we're having a party because Joel's not here. Sorry, no. Joel's actually in Europe at the moment. He's in Vienna. And last time I spoke to him, he was at the house of Nakamoto. And he wished he could be here with us tonight, but obviously because of logistical reasons and him traveling, he's not been able to join us. So to fill in for his shoes tonight, we're joined by Alex Werner, aka Evolution Dev for Dash Core. So we're happy to be here. And also as well, fellow amigo Brian, aka Mastermind. We're actually really lucky to have Alex on the show. We was actually going to have Chuck Williams on the Free Amigos tonight, but he's running a bit late. He has to get a plane to Hong Kong, which Alex is going to as well. But unfortunately, due to some events in France today, he's unable to fly out. So luckily, he agreed to come on the show. So thank you, Alex, for joining us. I guess that's probably a good segue into Hong Kong. So for all of those that watched the quarter-free summary call that took place yesterday, and it's now been uploaded to the official Dash YouTube channel, don't go watch it yet. You can watch it after this. In that, they announced that the Dash Evolution team will be going to Hong Kong for 1 week to work on, I think it's like, they kind of made it sound like an evolution kind of boot camp for all you devs. Yeah. Can you elaborate why is it just the evolution devs going over, or is it like a whole bunch of you?
It's complicated now to tell what is evolution dev. 12.2 is released. Obviously there is some monitoring and the drill, but now we squitch a little bit the team in a way where until today we had the evolution team in one part and we had the core team in the other part preparing for 12.2. But now we are going all over on evolution. That's big. That's the main preoccupation. So it's quite so the evolution team with some addition from the core team, which became sort of way the evolution team too.
Okay, so this is going to be kind of like intense 1 week, get all you guys in a room, hash out all the ideas, make sure everyone's on the same page, get the whole roadmap sorted for the whole project going ahead, and then you can all go off in your own different paths and then come back together again. The question is, why Hong Kong? Are you going to see Evan out there? What's the deal? Come on. I see Brian's twitching. He's dying to know here.
Why Hong Kong? Well, we have some people at Hong Kong that live there. I actually don't know why we choose Hong Kong, but I'm happy with that. I never visited the city, so being out there is quite cool. But yeah, mostly I think it's because we already have some people there. We have Dash Labs not far from there, and it's also a big it's a big place I think to be for Dash, which just with Wobi or whatever you named it. I'm not sure.
The exchange. Yes. Yeah. To be honest, until that news came out about that exchange. So for those that don't know, there was an article that came out on Dash Force News today about, I'm just going to say Huobi as well, because I'm not sure how to pronounce it, the Chinese exchange. Although it doesn't seem like the typical online exchange you would expect, say like Kraken one. I mean, that's quite large, but apparently they do a lot of OTC, over the counter trading.
Yeah, it's complicated.
Think about that with China, because you know how restrictive they are, and the last thing most people remember recalling from China was the ICO ban. So to hear an exchange suddenly take on Dash in China kind of like took me by surprise a little bit. Did you know anything about this, or has it taken you by surprise as well?
It was a surprise. Actually, I first heard of them. No, well, I knew the name, but I never ever visited the website or whatever. But I saw the proposal suddenly, and maybe 2 or 3 hours later, it was it was the pre-proposal. Then it was the proposal itself, and then 1 or 2 hours later again, it was on Twitter saying like, "Yeah, tomorrow we will have Dash." So It was quite fast, to be honest, but it's quite good news. So I'm happy with that. It's a first footstep in the Asian countries. So I'm very glad to have the opportunity to have some. I think that Dash has a good use in this country. I'm not sure of the ability to just have a store proposing services or goods in Dash, but at least that can be the beginning for them. And yeah, with
Okay.
instant sendback, I think it could be very, very good to have that opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, it's been such a huge week this week. So 12.2 update. It seems so dramatic because on that day, everyone was focused on the Segway X2. That the news came out that it was no more. However, since then, I believe it was yesterday, now it's back on apparently.
Oh.
So that's been crazy. But yeah, there's so much good stuff in 12.2. So Brian, have you updated yet to 12.2? Have you been a good boy? Or are we waiting on you?
I just sent Flare an email to update. I was waiting on some payments to come through. I have updated the Dashforce wallet. My question is about 12.3 though. What is the timeline for that? Because it seemed like it was just a couple of months after. Is it still going to be like here in 2 or 3 months, or is it going to be later? Or
was there a particular feature in 12.3 that you was focusing on, or just in general?
well, the thing that I was just because of the updating the master nodes, everybody kind of loses payments or there's a weird thing. And back in the day, we used to do updates really quick. And then when Ryan came on and took over, he said, we're going to do it much slower now with the protocol versions or updates. So I was just wondering, on the roadmap before I think it was like 2 or 3 months after 2 was coming out, 3 was coming out, but it takes so long for us to shift over. Yeah,
that's actually a really valid point. So just for the people at home that don't have master nodes, just so you fully understand. So when you get payouts with your master nodes, right? So when there's an update, if you're a master node owner, really you want to wait to get that payment in first before you do that upgrade. So that's what Brian's sort of talking about here. He wants to make sure he gets his payment on first, gets his payment, and then updates. Otherwise, potentially, you might be missing out on a week or two, right?
Yeah. So, if you have multiple master nodes, you're gonna lose a little bit. And that's fine. That's fine. But yeah, I'm just wondering if we're still like 2 or 3 months out from 12.3.
And Alex, slightly technical question, although I think I'm right on this. So when the news came out, obviously many people were happy. Obviously there was lots of upset Bitcoiners as well that saw the news and they didn't know really how to react. And a lot of people saying, oh, so is 2 megabyte like kicks in now? So it's when 51% update, right, of the active master nodes, and then these features kick in. That's correct. That's the magic number, 51%.
No. It's a little bit more complex. There is 3 cases that has been defined. What I remember is being 80%. So you need to have a block or 80% of the blocks that have both a payment to a miner that have updated and a payment to a masternode that have updated. So it can be, I don't have exactly any UTA on when it will be active, because of what you just said, but it's not just 51% and that's good.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I was really looking forward to having Chuck on because last week we spoke about last time we had Chuck on, he was speaking about the Copay wallet, and he was saying that I was talking about the transaction fees being reduced by 10, and then he was saying how all transactions would be moved to instant send by default. And I think that's so powerful, and we need to get that message out there. One thing that I have noticed about, and I would like to talk to you guys about today, so no hype, just real talk, is there's been some comments in the community in Discord today that they feel that although like 12.2 is such a huge update and everyone's so excited about it, they don't feel like the message has got out there enough. Like they're like, why isn't it in Cointelegraph? Why isn't it in Bitcoin Magazine? Why isn't this everywhere? This is huge. Everyone was talking about X2 being a no-go, and that's like headline front page everywhere. However, the 2 megabyte scaling thing has just been sold for Dash. So where there's all this misery going on, there's actually a silver lining in Dash, and it's the perfect timing to showcase it. You couldn't pick a better day to release 12.2. So what do you got? What are your thoughts about that?
Personally, it's not that I don't care. I really want to be, you're working on a such project that you want everybody to know and to use. There is 2 things. One, I start to really think that most of the Bitcoin maximalists are quite too much in the ideology, like Bitcoin monk, and you won't make them change their opinion. And obviously, it concerns Cointelegraph and probably other media. So I think there is a first bias here. And secondly, I think it's better for us to just right now, if you don't know about Bitcoin, you will have one guy going for you and tell, okay, here's Bitcoin. It's awesome because of this. Oh, nice. How can I make a payment? Well, you have to pay $5 and wait for 2 days in order to be able to spend something. We won't have that problem at all. Like we just, I have a talk today with someone that know a little bit of crypto but doesn't know about Dash specifically. And I said, yeah, so we have a feature which is instant send. So actually you can, and he knows about Kraken. And I said, yeah, you can go in and out of Kraken quite quickly because of instant send. And probably what will be the slowest won't be Dash itself. And he said, oh man, that's good. When will it go out? Well, we indeed have a little period in which we have an issue we had to fix, but it's here. And suddenly, it was like discovering a new technology for him. It was totally new. And I think that will what happen when we will teach other people that don't necessarily are in the Bitcoin maximalist type of ideology. When Bitcoin probably won't be able to attract other than speculators, hedge fund, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it's not the same game. One will head for a store of value with hedge fund and stuff like that, and the other will aim for payment.
See, I'm a big fan. I'm so confident in Dash and its features and functionality and the ability of the Dash core team. When I talk to people that are new to cryptocurrency, rather than being the Dash fanboy that most people know me to be now, I'm a big fan of the driving test. I say, okay, so you need to do your research as an investment. So look at the top 10 cryptocurrencies on CoinMarketCap. Look at those coins, see which coins actually have mobile wallets that are the actual official ones for the coin. Don't do third-party ones because then people can get in all kinds of problems and you don't want that responsibility on your shoulders. Find those coins that actually have their own official wallets. Get some of the coins. Then go for a test, experiment, use the coin. Look at the fees, look at the speed, look at the usability, ease of use, and how you feel about it. Play with them all. I'm so confident within Dash is going to come out number one all the time. And the problem is at the moment is where Bitcoin had that first mover advantage. And, let's be honest, these last few weeks, it's rocketed up past $7,000. I know it's on a pullback now, but we all know nothing goes up forever, right? So that it's the speculation in the Bitcoin, right? We know it's a store of value. We all know that. It's kind of like digital gold. But for the same reasons that Alex just mentioned there, unit of account, medium exchange, it's MBG. It's no bloody good. It's not practical. If you're a business owner or you're a merchant and you're using MasterCard or Visa, 3% for every transaction, or American Express, 4%, well, guess what? Bitcoin fees are even more than that, right? So it's not even better than the solution that it's trying to replace. It's not feasible in the real world. So
Yep.
so my question is, I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm just freestyling here, but think about it. If for whatever reason, every cryptocurrency in the top 10, say, was $1,000, they're all $1,000, then you would focus and invest on the coin based on its features, right? Brian, when you go to buy a new mobile phone, right, you probably go on YouTube and watch all these review videos and stuff, right? But you look at the phones that are on the market, and what do? You compare the features and functionality and what works for you. Well, I'm not just buying it to be flash. I'm actually going to use this phone, whether it's the specification of the camera or whatever, and it's the same. Now, do you both think Bitcoin can stand, head to head with the functionality of Dash right now? Honestly, in terms of speed, fees, everything else?
They probably should stick to, I think Alex mentioned it, everybody's talked about it in the past, that it is a store of value, Bitcoin, the original Bitcoin. I do agree with those guys, Luke Jr. and stuff, that think that the Bitcoin fee should be $75. I didn't always think about that. Now, I wouldn't. Now, if Dash didn't exist, I would totally be against it. But since Dash exists, yeah, let it be a store of value. That's fine. Dash is a perfect alternative. A lot of people are moving to Bitcoin Cash to be the thing, but Dash is way better than Bitcoin Cash. But they do have the network effect, and they do. Everybody who owns Bitcoin Cash. So
people care about the white paper anymore? Because the white paper that I remember by Satoshi wasn't about making a store of value. It was about making a payment network, right? I believe he mentions medium of exchange.
Yeah,
so even if you want to have some fun, take the white paper, do a search on the document, and type signature, and just see how it is mentioned in which context, and then look at for SegWit and see what signature became. I still wanted to say something. Many people nowadays have a car, right? Motorized, bigger, whatever you want. You still have a community which don't. Hamish, for instance, they still exist, and they still fight for their non-car stuff. So I'm sure that they will always have people having bitcoins just because of that. In the same way, you still have Hamish with their horses stuff.
Yeah, I do like your terminology of Bitcoin monk instead of Bitcoin maximalist. But
it has been 7 years, well, a little less, but you're going in a fight against bank, against a system, and you don't have that much of alternatives. It came nowadays we have some alternatives that is being usable, but you have some projects that still didn't really work today and aren't usable. So it was all over Bitcoin. So during all that years, you have I see something like that coming a lot when you godify, there is a personalities and you make it as a god. And I see that a lot in our community. And obviously it's going for, as you said, Luke Jr. and stuff. Even in I see that a lot. So ideology.
But the thing is, sorry, Brian, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say on the Bitcoin store of value thing, the problem with that, I've had this debate back and forth with Toke Normal going on for probably over a year, and he thinks that that's the main thing is a store of value. That's what gives it value. The problem that I've always pointed out to him is that, Dash is just a much better store of value, especially with master nodes and the upcoming interest-bearing accounts and stuff like that. Dash is just better all the way around. I think that's what Bitcoin has to do, because that's all they can do. The Bitcoin Classic, that's all they can do with the, with their structure and not having the second tier and the master nodes and everything. They're kind of stuck with that store of value because they can't really scale properly. But Dash just does it all so much better. And was my point to Toke Normal, that Bitcoin could become the store of value, but why would you want that if you could own Dash, which does it so much better? And he just said, well, that's if that's not the case, if they're not a store of value, then it's not worth anything. Well, another argument that I would make is that if Bitcoin just stopped developing, totally just stopped developing and didn't do anything development wise, people are going to switch. They can't just be, it can't be, he basically was saying that all crypto has to be the store of value, or Bitcoin does, because that's what gives it value. And, you know, my argument was, no, Dash is better at doing it. And,
yeah,
no,
well,
I've lost much.
before we went live, we was talking about Andreas Antonopoulos, and he's got that classic quote of saying Bitcoin is valuable because it's useful and it's scarce, and everyone uses that line now. So if you look on those pure fundamentals, I kind of come back to it now. It's like, okay, I fully accept Bitcoin had the first mover advantage. I was a former Bitcoiner myself. I'm so glad that I made the switch to Dash. Otherwise, imagine the frustration and disappointment that you would have. I'll probably even have less hair than I have now. And, you know, I was in Bitcoin for quite a while. But here's the thing. It's just like this whole, I don't honestly believe a lot of the people that are in Bitcoin actually understand the underlying technology. What makes blockchain technology special? It's the idea, it's the concept. What got me so excited when that white paper came out? It was the money revolution. It was dubbed, it was going to help the unbanked of the world. It's going to change it. It's going to be a solution for the world. Financial freedom, right? Not a store of value. There was nothing to do with that. And with a store of value, does that help people in Africa? These people have to, a lot of them have to live off $2 a day. They can't afford fees, you know? So we used to talk about the coffee shop test. That's not even applicable anymore because the fees are more than a cup of the coffee. And now they're more than the MasterCard Visa costs. And this is after SegWit was activated. That was meant to save the day. Like, how much Kool-Aid are these people going to drink? Like, how, you know, there's only so long you can be dragged along. And when you're going to wake up, you know, it's the governance, it's the funding issue. I mean, it bewilders me that people are still in Litecoin. You know, Brian was just saying, like, you know, no development for years. I mean, that was Litecoin. Like, it was a doorstop, literally. That was the only thing it was good for. It just sat there collecting dust. And it's only like Charlie Lee's just sort of, you know, come out with this whole SegWit thing, saying like, okay, yeah, we'll be the sacrifice, you know, we'll sacrifice ourselves and we'll do the SegWit first. I mean, like, come on, guys. It's just so, this whole, it just feels so silly because there's no, people aren't putting money into Bitcoin because of the technology and the solution that it gives. They're just doing it to speculate. And there's so many paper pushers that have come in and hijacked the movement that have lost the core original message that what the white paper was originally about. So that's why I made the comment about if the price is reset now, would it be about features and functionality or would it be about names? Because it's the underlying tech, right? You're going to use it because you want real world use. Or is it not about that? Is it all about making money? Is it just speculation?
It should be about... Go ahead.
Today, it seems that it's a little bit of speculation here. Some way I feel you're a little bit in a rush, you know, like we have time to go to that. And I feel that our community is, obviously I'm maybe biased, but I really think that better than out there. And I prefer this way where we give some value to the tech, we give some value to the ideology of, again, it's an ideology, you know, of what we are doing. Yeah, exactly. But I prefer that just going, you know, yeah, let's try to make, yeah, whatever speculative model you have, like CME or stuff like that. For me, as a dev, I prefer it to be steady and slow because I have more time to, you know, see it coming, adjusting, making better in the long term. So for me, obviously, I have. It's good for me that I don't have a big jump one day and then a drop the other day. I prefer a long and steady growth that we can monitor, in which we can improve. So for me, like it is today, it's perfect. But then I understand the frustration because I have the same. But one people by one people, we are all telling our friends and our family about Dash, right? So there is a connection graph that says that you are mostly at 8 or 9% to whoever you want in the world. So if we do that with one person and that one person do the same, in the end, we will win. If they will use Dash, Bitcoin, or whatever exists tomorrow, that's another more Darwinistic decision. At least we should propagate the idea of why you should at least use. I prefer someone that use Bitcoin instead of using MasterCard or Visa. At least that's with that. Then entrepreneur will quickly see that, oh shit, now I can do that. Then what exists in the ecosystem? Oh wait, Dash for instant transaction and low fee. Okay, we'll start accepting both of them. And then, well, why do you even keep spending in Bitcoin anymore? Then Bitcoin disappear and Dash is here because it's usable, like you say, scarcity and usability. And
Toke's argument when I was arguing that Bitcoin or that Dash would surpass Bitcoin, and he said no, Bitcoin will always be the number one, and the reason he said is because of the store of value. And his argument was that if it can be so easily replaced by some newer technology, then no crypto has any value, because then you would just keep going from crypto to crypto to crypto, different from Dash to Litecoin to whichever one was on top. But I guess back to my other argument was that, if Bitcoin stopped as far as technology wise and didn't do anything forever, if they just quit today, well, then something's going to come and have better tech, and it's going to replace it. So I still hold to that Dash will replace Bitcoin, or Bitcoin Cash or whatever it is. If they don't have the masternode network, plus I think we're just so far ahead now with the governance and the budget and the roadmap. It just seems inevitable that we'll surpass all of them.
You're totally right on that. It's the tone phase logic. It's these paper pushers that have come into Bitcoin, that anything, because Bitcoin in their eyes came first in the blockchain technology world, that they're king. Anything else is a scam. And if you push it, you're a scammer. Or if you own it, you're a scammer, right? But is it Bitcoin that's valuable? Or is it the idea or the concept and the actual technology, the blockchain technology, the solution, the usability, the technology is what's valuable, right?
Yeah.
And this is what Tone Phase gets wrong. And this is why I mentioned about the cars and the driving test thing, right? The Tone Phase logic is illogical because he has that outlook. Anything that is Bitcoin is not Bitcoin, is a scam, right? Anything that comes afterwards. So that means if Alex has an Apple iPhone and you have an Android phone, you're both scammed. You've been scammed, boys. You've been scammed. The first mobile phone technology came out in 1973, Motorola. Yeah. Things aren't allowed to innovate. Oh no, you've got to stay in the 70s with all those big brick phones. This is the same crazy concept. It's the technology. And actually, we know competition inspires innovation, right? Technology is a very fast-moving, evolving world. Bitcoin launched in 2009. A lot has happened since then. Look at the milestones and things that Dash has achieved since then, just since 2014. So we've come a long way, baby. But it's the technology. It's the blockchain technology. So don't get too attached to the Bitcoin label. It's the technology that has the value. So anyone that's watching this, that follows people like Tone Phase or other YouTube channels that are Bitcoin maximalists or monks, need to understand that Bitcoin isn't the end of all anything, right? Anyone that's followed IT, Microsoft, Apple, everything else, knows technology is a competitive game, right? And you want to have competition.
I think they know that in a way. Are you agree with me if I tell you that, okay, I think Bitcoin maximalists are very defensive?
Yes.
Yes.
Are you defensive if you think that you have the best tech and you think you are right?
Well, well, this is why it comes down to the mobile phone features. And I was saying, like, you've got to look at the specification of the camera. That's why I'm a fan of the driving testing, saying, like, I'm so confident within Dash, I want you to try all the other coins. I believe in it so much. I want you to go out there and experiment, try them all, and tell me what you think, what you like, what you don't like. And you will come back to the drawing board, and then we can break it down into ease of use, accessibility, the interface, the speed, the transaction fees, whatever you want to talk about. And then ultimately we can talk about business adoption and the end game. It's not just about now being a momentum monkey looking at the price and the chart action every day. I'm not about that. I'm in Dash because of people like Alex. Before I got into cryptocurrency, I was into precious metals. But even before then, yeah, I know, I was into stock markets and all that sort of stuff. Now, I never used to look at things like Apple and the names of the companies, right? I was always taught you look for the Michael Jordans of the industry. Who are the people that are pioneering in that industry? The Elon Musks of the world, right? Find those individuals, because it doesn't matter which company they go to, they're the rock stars. So that's why in Dash, I feel so confident, because we've got that core team. So as Fernando says, Dash brings, it's their milkshake, brings all the best devs to the yard. We've got the funding and the governance to do it. And that's not me being cocky. I've come from Bitcoin. I had a Bitcoin business. I used to do petitions for business. I got so frustrated with the concept. And this was when Bitcoin worked. So it was very difficult for me to make the transition over to Darkcoin when that was the case. But just look what Darkcoin was offering then, and look at Dash now. It's a whole new level. So in some ways, people panic with the Bitcoin price starting to go down now. Well, it's a good thing. Look at that. We had the flipping in with Ethereum. Now we're having the dashing in. It's going to happen at some point. If we're going to get somewhere, there always has to be some kind of volatility. You need to mentally prepare yourself for it.
Yeah,
strap yourself in.
Toke's argument about the store of value was that, I'm basically repeating myself, but that if it could change so easily, then nobody would invest in it if it wasn't the store of value. But my counter argument to that was, I saw in the future that you wouldn't just invest in Bitcoin, but people would be able to invest in a basket of different cryptocurrencies to protect them from, like Bitcoin not innovating and falling off the radar because they're not able to do it, or their tech's not set up with masternodes or whatever. There would be a basket of currencies for people to invest in, and that would solve basically the store of value. You wouldn't put all your eggs in just one Bitcoin basket. You would have a bunch of them, and one of those may rise to the top and other ones may fall, but you would be protected, and that would be the store of value.
On the store of value, I'm not sure we have to focus too much on that. Like, in a sense, Dash is a store of value. I live 100% half of Dash. Obviously, I need to convert it at some point in euro, but I get paid by the blockchain, so in Dash. My goal is to, at the end of the month, have some Dash in spare, not have some euro in my bank account. I don't care of that. I just need to go to the euro, because as of today, I not have a lot of possibility. I have my card that can, but you get the drill. But my goal is to, in my late, 60, I want to have some Dash store of value. So in a way, so every currency became obviously a store of value in certain extent. You try to have more until you die. So when you don't have the ability to go walking, you still have some money to live or give your children and stuff like that. So the only difference is it a store of value as the euro is for some people, or is it the store of value as the gold is for some people? Gold is a store of value. Can you pay a bread with a ounce of gold? You can try, but I'm not sure it will be that easy. Even with silver, I'm not sure it will be easy. So, in some way, in our society, every possession became a store of value. Your house, your chair, my computer. Right? If I sell my computer, it has a value. And if I store multiple computers, store of value. But what really depend on that is what what it's used for, and that's where I met you on that fact. Usability will determine what the currency is going to, and yeah, in Bitcoin, I'm not sure we should talk in as a currency anymore.
Yeah, exactly. I think one of Toke's arguments also in the same line was that he thought that Bitcoin should be the crypto reserve currency just because it was first, which that also, all these arguments that he makes, I just see Dash being so
Where's
much
BlackBerry
better.
today? Do you know anyone that's got a BlackBerry anymore?
Yeah.
It's the same point. Yeah. It's technology at the end of the day, boys.
Yep.
That's what we're talking about here. And that's how fast the world of technology moves. Yeah. I used to work in IT in the tech sector, and I used to set up BlackBerries all day, and they had their own exchange servers, everything. And people used to say, no, they would never, ever be able to do this because it's so ingrained in the system. We're using Microsoft Exchange for the emails. We've got our BlackBerry server for our things. No one ever thought about it. Then obviously iPhone came along, and then that integrated with Active Directory, and we could do group policy for that, and it changed everything.
Yeah, we're so
like, there's no definitive answer. You can only keep true to the roadmap and just keep going ahead and focus on the objective, not the daily price action, but the actual end goal line. That's what you got to go for.
We're so early. It's so early right now. That's, we're so early. It's not, Bitcoin is not one. It's not, it's ridiculous. It's what 1% of the population probably even holds or knows about Bitcoin. So we're just so early.
Well, I'm loving some of the comment action, boys. I've just had a quick look. So people throw it in the comments, Xerox, IBM, GE, Nokia. Literally, it's a graveyard, right? But this is the way things work. You got to get with it. All right, okay, let's mix things up again, boys. So I feel like we've been talking a bit too much about Bitcoin, and it's not that we're being tribal or rivalry. It's just looking at what's going on because everyone's talking about the price.
We all started in Bitcoin. Yeah, we all started with Bitcoin. We love Bitcoin, but
exactly.
It's just Dash.
I'm grateful it paved the way forward, but for the technology, not for the name, the brand name, the technology, it started that conversation. Like, wow, what if we have a solution for the world? That's exciting. That's what got me pumped up, saying, this is the money revolution. This is going to change the world. And I'm a European like Alex. We saw what happened with Cyprus and in Greece, and then was like, wow, this is actually reality. This is a solution that's needed. So, yeah, anyway, I want to go back to the 12.2 update because it's such a huge thing this week. We would not be doing it justice if we didn't talk about it. So I would just like to go through some of the features of 12.2. And if either of you want to stop me at any point and we can talk about those features, just let me know. So initially, we got the 2 megabyte block upgrade, which is great. We've got the instant send reactivation, which hopefully, Alex, you were deeply involved in that fix. So perhaps you can talk about it in a second. In the comments, if you would like Alex to talk about the instant send fix and reactivation, let us know. There was the transaction fee reduction by 10%. No more penny fees, sub-cent fees, people. We're just making it a reality. Who else is doing this? Amazing stuff. And finally, private send mixing speed has been increased. Now, that's the one feature that I don't really understand, like how they've done that. And we have to remember Alex's evolution. So the 12.2 update, without putting him on the spot too much, but Alex, can you speak on the private send mixing speed?
Now, I do look for a lot of commits, but this particular part is something that I've read only the title of the commit. I didn't click on that in order to look at the code. Private send is actually a big chunk, and that a chunk that I need to know at some point. But I'm still giving me some time to master private send. I have a lot of work, like you said, on evolution. So everything, even knowledge, in some point has to be prioritized.
Yeah, I wonder if they've just tied the private send mixing speed to the 2 megabyte block upgrade. But then again, obviously the private send is dependent on the Mastodon network. So yeah, I think I need to get a bit more information on that
I think
first.
nah. The only thing I can say by remembering a line of code that has changed so very little, I think it has something to do with the rate check. So, in my understandable of how I see it, it's just the checking that is being done quicker. But because I also suppose, and I'm not sure on that, that it takes less bandwidth. Yeah, I'm not sure on the detail of that one.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Brian, is there any questions, or are you curious like me? Would you like to know more about the instant send fix?
Well, I was going to make a comment about people saying that we haven't done the marketing or whatever for 12.2. I tend to agree with a lot of that, but none of these things have implemented yet, and I think it'll once hopefully there'll be a big push once we flip the switch or the sporks, and there'll be a bigger push to say, hey, yes, we've accomplished it now. If we remember the last update to 12 point whatever it was, I guess 12.0, there was a huge gap, almost a month before the price just skyrocketed. So yeah, it's a fine balance. Yes, I would have liked a little bit more marketing, but at the same time, none of these features are even working now. So it's kind of we're in a weird area to where, yes, we have them, but they're not working. We're all confident that it will. The sporks will kick in and it will work, but it's not right now. That's just the facts.
Okay. So Alex,
maybe on the marketing facts, it has happened in the community has waited a lot for this release, and we try to do everything so it can roll out without any problem. Like, we don't have node crashing. Most of are still up there. Everything is good, which we had some problem during the test period. But now everything has been rolled out and everything is good. We still have to monitor that, obviously. But yeah, you see where I'm going with that. And because we have that tension in the community waiting for 12.2, we might have lost some energy that we could use on something else. What if we used all that energy in order to tell to the people, look, we have 12.2 coming out and it will be 10 times less fee. But instead we choose to go, I know that as a developer, it has been quite complicated because I saw all these people and you start to feel sometimes, now it's out, everything seems happy, and complaining about marketing, it's like, be happy, stop complaining every time.
I think it's frustration. I was actually talking to someone about this today that's not in Dash. Excuse me. And they said that they felt a bit disappointed by the Dash conference, that it was a bit lackluster, that it was missing something. I think everyone anticipated major announcements from the speaker lineup, but I think what was there was every time, especially when I was doing interviews and getting some of you guys from Corin interviews, the one thing that kept coming up was, well, this is all great, but Instant Send isn't active right now. It's been deactivated. And it's kind of like, Jesus, focus on the good stuff. So I think it's just been this huge build up for 12.2 that people have been waiting since September.
There is one thing that I really don't understand. Like, there was missing something. Did everybody watch at the Chuck show in the conference? Like, the number of stuff he announced there, obviously he did not have chilled right away. He just speak a little bit on the tech part, on the usability on the platform side, but it's quite huge now.
Yes.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Evolution and stuff. I think the problem was, and this, is probably partly my fault as well, was that the speaker lineup before had the speaker slots like major announcement 1, 2, 3, and literally like 2 days before it then like switched and the lineups got changed. But I think people were I mean, there was that talk by God, I forgot his name now. Matthew. Anyway, about how instant send works, right? Really, really good in-depth research. It's going to do my head in now. It's Matthew, right? Is it Matthew? No. Anyway, sorry. I'll double check that and I'll write that in the comments. Yeah, so I don't feel like anyone's disappointed. I just feel where people this has been going on since September from the Dash conference, so people just been anticipating, waiting for it, and during that transition time there's been, you know, not people losing morale, it's kind of like people just, you know, sitting around like, you know, waiting for it. But the thing is, has it really impacted their lives waiting? No. And look what they've got. You're right, they've got so much more from it. Not only have we got instant send reactivated, we've now got like the transaction fee reduction, which is huge. Why is no one not reporting on this? This should be front page everywhere. It's not even about just smashing the competition. It's kind of like, wow, look at what these guys have been able to do. This is crazy. Like,
it's weird though. Yeah, it's weird though, because technically we don't have it yet. It's hard to get out there and market it and push it when it's actually not. The instance still not activated, as far as
what
I know.
about SegWit, pre-SegWit? What about X2 SegWit? Look at the news and stuff that goes with that, and the circle.
We're
jerk.
not a hype. Yeah, we're not a
That's
hype.
to pump up the price. That's not even to do about the technology. People are pumping it, and they don't even understand how it works. People still talk about the Lightning Network, and they've got no idea. You remember SegWit first time round? It was meant to fix all those problems.
Yeah, we don't hype.
Still pretty high, right?
We don't hype. That's Ryan's thing. We just don't hype, and we just don't hype, and the price stays fairly steady. So.
On this point, if I can say, so I don't have millions of Bitcoin, of Dash, or whatever. So I have a big interest to, you know, each Dash that I have count. So I have a big interest to keep on keeping them. When you are at $7,000 the Bitcoin, I see all of my friends a lot of them are Bitcoin maximalists. They quite freak out because they don't know what to do. They're that close to go in euro. They want to withdraw their Bitcoin to go in euro because they feel safer in euro than in Bitcoin. Why? Because it has pumped like no skyrocket. Now it's 7,000 and they don't know if it's going for 6, 5, 4. They don't know where it's going. As they know it will have a pullback. They don't even know if it's now, later, where it will go. Total incertitude.
Does Dash have a problem?
No, maybe I'm wrong, but I know that we are at, I don't know exactly, but more than 3,300, and we had a big pump. At least I see it like a big pump for a steady grow. I don't sell. I don't have. Yeah, it can draw back a little bit from $20-$30, but you know, I feel confident keeping my Dash because it's stable. We don't pump it, so it's a real currency. In fact, I don't need to sell my Dash to go for ruble because for some way I really don't trust euro. But I just can keep my Dash and live off of that. Sometimes I'm happy because Dash takes some euro, so I got more for the same money. Sometimes I'm less happy because I had more 1 week before. But the difference is quite slow. That it's still good. Like we had a big pullback on a long period of time. Actually, it was okay. It was not the you know, you're not as that much happy, but still you are good. Like I can live. I didn't lose 90% of the value of the stuff. In Bitcoin, they are expecting something like that. Actually, well, not 90, but it's maybe 60% pullback they're waiting for.
Well, Alex, you've got a comment in the Q&A from one of your colleagues, Joshua.
Oh,
so Joshua has.
Hi, Joshua.
Joshua has typed. It's so interesting that we have this reputation of doing a ton of advertisement, but yet we are so low key about version releases, etc.
Yeah.
So, and he also says hi, Alex, by the way.
No, yeah.
And it's true. We get hammered by a lot of people. Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, all that sort of stuff. So it's just like Amanda Dash advertisement. Well, it's like, really? If go read like all the crypto news publications, see how much coverage Dash gets from that. Go on the cryptocurrency subreddit. You know, like have a look. Really, honestly.
But it's even worse because I feel okay. We really try deeply to work with entrepreneur, but entrepreneur is not marketing. It's going one-to-one, talking with a businessman and explaining why Dash is good, and he will try to implement that, and you will help him to implement Dash in his company. That's not marketing, but that's still, talking about Dash. But for them, this is what we actually do. We don't do, Super Bowl ads or big thing. We do simple stuff with a conference, which was indeed a big conference with a lot of people, but mostly Dash communities are a little from the Bitcoin community. But we aren't doing big marketing or anything. But for everyone out there, we are max advertising cryptocurrency, max marketing. So yeah, in the end, if they really think that this is what you can do in terms of top marketing, not sure on how long they will be able to,
Yeah, I'm
spread
just
the
waiting
love.
for the dash in to happen in. So I'm trying to make the hashtag trend dash to 500. Now it's not about pumping the price at all. It's just what I personally feel it should be worth. So and like I honestly think people now are, especially in Bitcoin, are frustrated because this whole scaling debate has gone on for just years, and I'm not exaggerating. And it's like a yo-yo, and I feel like their emotions are being played with so much that it's like Katy Perry's hot and cold all the time. Now X2's back on, all this sort of stuff, and now they keep dividing, splitting up. So now they're just like, no, we're gonna carry on with X2 because we can't have Bitcoin dictated by 6 people. But having our mining pools controlled like 85% by China is totally okay. It's like,
yeah, I think
maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just too deep. But I kind of feel like Oprah, that meme, like red pills for you, red pill for you, red pills for everyone. It's just like, wake up. Like the people actually, if people actually know how the technology works, right, and the solution, understand why it was invented, why we're using it, and why we want it, right, then they would know Bitcoin's not the best, like features and functionality wise. Yeah, you can sit on for it, but you can't spend it because you're going to lose loads of fees. And I know people that are mostly in Bitcoin and they're like, well, yeah, I'm just sitting on it. But they're getting to that stage now where they're kind of like, well, seen the price. I've seen what's going on with, I saw all this action happen with Bitcoin Cash. They were slating it, slagging it off. Now they're actually saying, well, actually, in terms of functions and features and actually using it, it actually works better than Bitcoin now. Oh yeah, but now there's Bitcoin Gold. There's going to be Bitcoin Bronze, Silver, you name it. It's going to be. It's just like it never ends. It never ends.
Bitcoin coin.
Bitcoin coin. They might as well just start calling it Bitcoin Dash because
that's what I'm going to buy.
We've evolved and we've actually done it right. And now people are trying. You remember I was talking about the stock market and finding the Michael Jordans? That's what I did with Dash. They innovated. Stick to the innovators, not the imitators. People are going to copy, but as long as we're innovating, I'm with Dash. And that's why I'm for the roadmap, not the daily price action. And that's why hashtag Dash to 500. I've actually got a bet going on with Joel. I shouldn't really be making this public, but he thinks Dash is going to go to like 1,000 in, I think, by March. So we've got a bet going on. I mean, I hope he wins. Either way, it's like win-win for me. But
yeah, we'll see. Dash. One thing that I have noticed in the last year or so is that since we don't have a lot of hype, that Dash gets.
Come on, you got me, hype man.
Right. Well, you know what I mean. Compared to Bitcoin and some of these other coins, we don't get a big pump until after we have a big version release, until a new product comes out. And I think that's how it should be. Once a new product comes out and it's stable, at least that's the last year. That's what we've seen. And that's when the price goes up. Once it's not just all on just vaporware and hype. It's once we get a release out, once it's stable. And so I'm expecting that to happen now that 12.2 is out, that once it's stable, once everything kicks in, once the sports kick in, I think we're going to go to 550 or more. But let me circle back around to 12.3. Do we have a date on that or any kind of estimate for 12.3? A month?
I can give you a decade. So I can tell you that it will come in the next 10 years. I won't do more. Like with 12.2, I've learned. I won't give any date anymore. Never. No. If we have, it's too complicated. We are in software development. We are working on something like, I started 10 years ago now, doing some web development. At that time, when I had something I wanted to do, like, okay, I want to connect to a database. Oh, I didn't knew at that time. I learned on the field. In order to know how to do that, I was doing on Google and saying like, okay, PHP connect to a database, and I had the answer. So I can say how much time I would need in order to make a website. So it would require, I don't know, 100 Googling, which takes me maybe 30 seconds, plus trying, plus debugging. Okay, roughly 3 months, I gave you a website. Okay. But now I cannot. Okay, I didn't try to Google for something like, okay, how should I do dash evolution? Maybe I could have some result, but I don't think. So I cannot estimate. And again, I don't know where, but in the forum, Alexander Block have made a perfect post on that point, which what he has called in his post as a unknowing the unknown, which is a little bit of our case. We don't know. We don't know because we cannot know. We can estimate and more guesstimate, actually. And that's what we did with 12.2. With 12.2, we have been asked by the community when we've told, well, we are aiming for this period. And then at that period, people came, yeah, what are you doing? It's still not there. When it will be coming? And we had to lose our energy explaining that, we are working on that. We are fixing. We had something that we didn't plan. We are also copy and stuff here and there. We really are working hard in order to provide you that, but we could release today, but we are not feeling safe, and we want to wait to be sure to fix everything before releasing, which is what we did. And as of today, I'm still thinking that it's the best idea that ever developer could have. And so we gave a guesstimation, and it turns out quite not as good as I hoped. Like at some point, people just are frustrated. So in order to avoid any frustration, I won't give any date. I would rather give a decade, but that's it.
The thing that worries me is that the roadmap still says December for 12.3, which I don't think that's going to happen. Hopefully it doesn't. It can't happen.
No, we already have like we are the 10 November, and we are 2 weeks in Hong Kong. At the time of the roadmap, Hong Kong wasn't planned. Hong Kong is a big stuff for evolution, but we didn't on the roadmap. There is nowhere where we said, okay, we set up in Hong Kong 2 weeks in November. We didn't know even at that time about that.
And we fixed some other issues as well, right? The comma issue on Central, all kinds of things that were unexpected, unforeseen.
I would like it to be later than sooner. I would like, months from now, 12, because I'd like the network to stabilize. It's going to take a couple of weeks to get all this done. I would hate to just keep update. I don't like the quick ones. So for me, I'm fine if it's 3, 4, 5 months from now. I think Ryan or
I'm not a betting man, but then again, I've just told you about my bet with Joel, but I think it's a safe bet. I would say safe bet to say it's probably not going to be until at least January time.
Yeah, from what I understand, though, evolution itself is still on track for around June, July, something like that. From what
that's my date.
Yeah. Okay.
I actually have June in, but yeah, that's the date I keep telling to the product manager. So
Yeah, I think everybody
but
should be happy
evolution
with
is
that.
not. Yeah, evolution is multiple pieces coming
Right.
together.
Right.
So
Don't you worry? Like evolution is going to be so when it comes out, it's going to be like 12.2. Like everyone in the Dash community is like really happy, but then no one else knows what's happened. Like outside, we're like, yeah, we got this. Dash evolution is finally here.
that's
I've been
good.
waiting
That's
for this
good.
for
No, no,
years.
no, no, no.
Woo, 2018.
That's awesome because then the next step has to be bigger. At
Okay.
some point, okay. At some point, if we find the cure for the cancer, at some point people will give a shit, right? So if we always make it bigger, at some point we cure every disease in the world. I don't see, like, we use the fund system. We have I don't know, 1 trillion market cap, so we take 1% for that in order to cure the cancer, and the cancer is being cured, and then everyone talk about Dash good. Then you have your hype. Just wait for the one, you know.
Yeah,
No.
to be honest, I don't think people, even if you took Dash Evolution out the picture, I don't think people realize how big. I mean, we can't even foresee how big 2018 is. Just looking at the quarter three summary, and when Brian had his slide of the key, the KPI, key performance indicators, and the financial figures just from last year. So in 1 year, from quarter three 2016 to quarter three 2017, we've gone from $12 to $311 when that slide was made, which was something like, was it 2,700% or something? Like, look at what we've managed to do in a year. Now, I'm not even just focusing on Dash. 2018, I think we're going to have Alt 36. We're going to have the General Bytes POS solutions. When we had Jeff on the Free Amigos last week, he was saying at the Money 2020, everyone had these contactless cards, so like the Festi card, that they're going to be issuing out. So even these ATM manufacturers and stuff are getting involved in the contactless card game. No name, no numbers, tap, tap, pay, happy days. This is going to be the future and the biggest story of 2018. And it's going to, we are in that business adoption phase. We're just coming into it. We haven't even started yet. I've got high hopes for Alt 36 until I see it working in some of that. I mean, like, $1 million is a lot of money, but it's the solution I care about, right? Not the number it costs to do. If it works, then it's going to be a massive game changer. And even though, you know, I don't do cannabis, I acknowledge how big that is. And the fact that now Alt 36 saying they're not just about the cannabis industry, they're for the retail sector as well. Yeah. Look what's going on. And with all these other cards and stuff that are going to come out, it's just a matter of time. Just a matter of time. Hashtag the dashing in. Hashtag dash to 500. It's going to happen. It's getting real. 2018 Dash. It's already on the map, but we're going to be taking over. There you go, Mr. Hype Man. You don't need a marketing firm. You got me, one man PR machine. But actually, this is it. Like, we haven't even heard yet from the marketing firm. These guys do it for a living. Like, I've got no idea how they're going to rebrand it, how they're going to do this campaign. But these guys do like TV commercials, all sorts of stuff. They look after big clients. They get into the psychology of it all. So we're talking about here in like the crypto space land, where we're talking about rivalry and people being tribal, protecting their investments and stuff. Who knows what these people are going to do? Like, I'm excited. A lot of people are like, you know, a little bit scared about the rebranding. It's like, no, I say bring it on. Bring it on. I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait.
So much. We have so much in the pipeline. It's just crazy. Yeah, if we're not at 1,000 this time next year, something's wrong. I mean, there's just so much coming. It's overwhelming, all the cool stuff that's going to be 2018. Yeah.
Yeah, and people just like, oh, aren't you, you know, what so and so said this about this about Dash. Someone said this. It's like, really? Okay, if there's a problem or a vulnerability in Dash, bring it on. I want Dash to be solid and robust as possible. What other cryptocurrency pays 60,000 independent security experts trying to break it, trying to tear it apart? That's been going on for a while now. How many vulnerabilities have they found? not many. It's a good sign. But however, before this thing really blows up, of course I want it to be solid. Like, you don't want something happening in that stage. You want to find everything you can now. What other cryptos doing that? No one. Dash is leading the way. They're not just innovating and pioneering, coming up with new solutions, breaking new ground. They're actually finding people that are leading experts in their fields to say, okay, look, we want you to do this, we want you to do that. But also, like, you can't, no one else is doing this.
Yeah.
You know?
I think 2018 is going to be our year, but like Alex said, you know, when Evolution is released, it's not the full thing. We still have like the interest-bearing accounts and so much else that's going to be on top of that. So it's not going to stop. It's just, yeah.
And again, Evolution, it's a layer on which you will be able to do a lot of stuff. So we have to try to find, you know, we set up our head like if we were entrepreneur working with the with Dash Evolution in order to imagine how we can help them to make what they want easier. But we know that we don't have all the use cases in our head. So there is part that we know, there is part that we don't know, part that will be totally creative, part that will be, yeah, really exciting. So next year, man, it will be very hard. I expect it to be very hard working on that. But
yeah, I mean, just on the cannabis industry thing alone, I know I mentioned that before, but I was just doing something about this the other day, and like, they're not into the crypto world, but you know, they dabble a bit, computer games, you know, smoking, you know, the occasional joint and stuff. So like, you always got to play to your strengths. When people always come to cryptocurrency, whether they're a business merchant or, you know, whatever, you know, Bitcar, Amazon, you could buy games cheap, well, that sort of stuff. Well, I couldn't get this guy's attention. So it was just like, well, you like weed, right? Yeah. I was like, well, we're going to change the game with weed in the retail sector. Like, it's worth like 10 billion in the States right now, and it's going to go up even higher. The market cap of Dash right now is 2 billion. What do you think that's going to happen? We're going to be integrated into all the major POS solutions of the cannabis industry, not just for the retail, but the suppliers, the wholesale, everything, the whole game. Lock, set, match. Signed, sealed, delivered. It's yours. Dash for the win. So like, people don't understand this yet. Like, well, I've got really high hopes for this. You know, I might have to come over and sign up to a dispensary, not to smoke or partake, just to check it out and spare my Dash.
Yeah.
Am I getting a bit too hyped for Brian? Brian's like, Mark, you need to reel it in a bit.
It's excellent. Yeah, and they're doing the ATMs. It's going to be on the display. It's going to be, yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, like, it's the biggest thing no one's talking about. So like, if you're one of these people, if you're new to Dash watching, make sure you subscribe, by the way, and go to dashforcenews.com, #1 source for Dash Force News online. And yeah, so there's so much stuff out there. So if you're reading these publications, or if you follow people on Twitter, some journalists, as I do, tweet them. Say like, why aren't you talking about like 12.2? Why aren't you talking about Alt 36? They're actually providing retail solutions that are problems that the legacy banking system can't fix. So we're actually bringing the game forward. And I tell you what, the biggest fanboy moment for me in the Q3 summary call was when Brian said he had a call this week with BlockCypher, and he said he had his notebook with him, and it had 3 pages full of projects and integrations done by BlockCypher. And the majority of these are still things that we need to learn about. This is amazing. Like, so we've got so much stuff in the pipeline to come out. So I know sometimes we can get a little bit frustrated because we feel like, you know, we deserve more recognition. But the truth is, the proof is in the pudding. Like, what we're doing is working. And I think these guys going to the Evolution team, going to Hong Kong to all sit in a room should get everyone excited, because they're taking this stuff seriously. They're all going to come together. There's going to be some magic stuff that works in. I'm sure like everyone will come into the room and do a few spins and then walk out again. But I mean, it's going to be amazing. Like, so already they had a plan of a roadmap. Imagine what they're going to come up with this time. Every time these guys get in a room together, something magical happens. So it's already looking good. What's going to happen in the next 2 weeks? Who knows?
On that note, let's wrap it up.
Okay, excellent. Well, thank you everyone for joining episode 25 of the Dash Force News podcast, Free Amigos. As I just recently mentioned, if you've not been to dashforcenews.com, go check it out. #1 source of Dash Force News online. If you're new to Dash and you want to see the latest interviews, news, content of Dash, make sure you subscribe to stay up to date. And yeah, thank you for joining us. So make sure you like and share this video. We will see you same Dash time, same Dash channel next week, every Friday. And that's it for now. So thank you to Alex Werner for joining us, and to Brian, and Joelle will be back with us next week. So we will now retreat and go back to the Discord Dash Nation channel. If you're new to Dash, dashchat.org. We'll see you in there. And have a great weekend. And stay dashy. See you later, yo.
See ya.